celebrating together so joyfully. Words pour out from our kind souls. There is no place for inflated egos. This place is home to you and me. Surroundings familiar, a community. Let's write the words from our minds. All those adventures will be sublime. This group belongs to the member poets, caring and sharing those precious moments. Let's laugh together, then share some tears, emotions displayed without anxiety or fear. Quill and Parchment Society, elevating poets, honoring art, enriching souls, celebrating community.
All right, welcome everybody. After some moments of intrepidation caused by yours truly, we are here. Zach, I hear you there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound good, Zach. You can tell there's a new headset. Is that what it is? A new one, or
Just a different one, not new, just different.
right?
Yeah, it's wireless. Gonna see what happens this time around.
That's what I'm using too. I've got a wireless headset, and I didn't trust it at first, but as long as
Yeah, I
it
don't
doesn't
know.
disconnect on its own, I'm good, because that
Yeah.
happened once right in front of a show to me. So
Mm.
anyway, so we got some exciting stuff. I'm going to start off with, first of all, guys, I'm going to apologize because I've been really super busy all week, and I'm probably not as organized, and I hope we get to the point when we start this show officially reading the poetry and things like that, that it levels off and I get in my comfort zone. I believe that will happen. Just like Zach, it's always almost relaxing once we hear the music and we can hear each other. Then we know the
You gotta get in that headspace, and then it all smooths out.
Yeah, all you're doing then is just what you want to do anyway. So I see we got somebody joining us in the live room we haven't seen in a while. Welcome, Aaron. I'm going to say hi. Hopefully
Hey.
you listen along. Unfortunately, Podbean is bringing to an end this, and I wanted to update everyone and let them know they're bringing to an end the live portion, and they want us to record. Now, I haven't done that. We've experimented once, and we will experiment some more and see how it goes. If we stick with Podbean, if we can figure it out, we're going to stick with Podbean. But I want everyone to know I'm exploring different options. And there are a lot out there. It just depends on what we want. And I'm kind of ignorant of what is out there. So I'm going to give it a look-see and see what there is. run it by Zach. We'll communicate. I may do a test run or two on my own, and then me and Zach will do a test run or two, and we'll see what we come up with if
Sure.
we can't figure out this Podbean. But rest assured, the show won't go away. It just may be a different platform. And I think that starts the 18th of May. So it's coming up on us. So we'll get it figured out before long. We also have upcoming the collaboration show where we did collaborations. And I know there are 4 of the 6 groups done. One group notified me that they're not going to be able to complete it because of some health issues
Hmm.
and things like that. Zach, I'm getting some feedback or something. Is
On
that
my end?
you or me? Try to mute. Let me see if it goes away. It sounded
Sure.
like a car driving by, maybe. Yep, I don't hear it now, so it must have been something driving by. You can come back to me, Zach. It sounded like a car driving by.
Really?
I'm just hoping my dog don't bark.
Yeah, I hope not,
always-
because like it's so rural and like remote out here. I'd be surprised if it was a car.
I don't think it was a car, actually. It just sounded like it, but it was a little bit of feedback. And honestly, after you muted and come back, completely gone.
Oh,
clear
good. Yeah, it's just the
like
old
you started
turn on,
out.
turn off thing. Yeah, that usually
Yeah,
works.
yeah. So it just was. It was buzzing just a little or something. Anyway,
Okay.
let's see. Where were we? We were collaborations, and you have a collaboration. I did
Yes.
a collaboration. We have 4 groups that we know are completed, so we should be coming up to the collaboration show here very shortly. And I would like to put them all together on our reading list. That way, they come to the same show, and we can coordinate around it. And I'm hoping we can get more participation, more word out there on the next one we do, and work it out to where it's a complete show of nothing but collaborations, which would require 10 or 12 maybe,
Mhm.
and that is a wonderful thing. They're a joy to do, aren't they, Zach?
Absolutely. All the time.
It is. It is. There's no better way. You get to know poets by reading them and stuff like that. There's no better way to communicate a thought with someone in step that you don't know, that you're not looking at and working with, and it's fun. Zach and I did one sidecar. This all started after we posted and read sidecar after the idea, didn't it, Zach?
That's right. Yeah, that kind of evolved from there.
Yeah, it was good times.
Yeah, looking for more of those for sure.
Yeah, we have some other things going on as well. We've got we're not exactly driving members in. We're not accepting just open membership. So what we're doing now, and I ran this by Zach a few weeks ago, is we're having members sponsored in. So people don't come in blindly. You have to know somebody to get in, and that's a good thing because we keep ourselves limited and exclusive and all that, and don't get overwhelmed, because we want a nice small group that feels very personal and flows very well, and everybody knows everybody. You want to tell them about birthdays, Zach? We started the birthday list. Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Ann, for coming
That's
up
great.
with that idea.
We had someone's. Didn't we have Deb's birthday recently? Didn't we? I believe yesterday. So I think she kicked it off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it started after my birthday, actually.
Oh, right.
Is what it
Okay.
is when it started, and somebody had mentioned that knew it was my birthday. Somebody had mentioned on the group message board, and then Ann started talking about happy birthdays and stuff like that.
That's
And
how that idea evolved.
it just kind of evolved to where we're collecting up everybody's birthday just to have a nice post on the day of your birthday.
Right.
Telling everybody happy birthday. And I feel like that draws us closer together as a community. And that's one thing I can tell you about the Quill and Parchment Society. We are different than any other group that I know of on all poetry. There are some similarities to different groups, but I think we have put together something that really works for a small community for us. And we're always glad to see new members. We've taken on 2 in the past month is all we've taken on. But both are valued members, just like our very first members, valued just the same. So, welcome,
Absolutely.
new members, and let's see. Do we have anything else, Zach? Anything else?
Anything else? Let's see. Those that are listening at home and Parchees elsewhere could find the Reading List podcast episode 22 second from the top on the topic board on All Poetry, just so you all know.
Oh, yeah. Follow along, guys. Everything's posted there. And we started doing this as well, Zach. I guess I should mention this. We are also commenting as we read the poems, and we're not commenting what we're saying on the podcast, but what I am commenting, what I'm posting to the poem, is what episode of the podcast it was read on. That way, you don't resubmit the same piece that's already been read by us, because we want fresh, new pieces that we haven't read before to cold read. So I'm actually reading a lot less poetry from the group than I used to do before we started doing it this way, because I want to be sure and cold read them. Zach and I really enjoy sharing our emotions when we read the first read. And it's a wonderful idea that just really come about when we first started talking about doing this, didn't it, Zach?
That's right. I think like it works for the both of us, and I think we understand each other to the point where if we're kind of struggling with something, we kind of like fill the gaps, as it were.
We sure have gotten a whole lot better at that now that we've done this. This is our 22nd episode, Zach. Who would have thunk, right?
Yeah. Wow.
So now what do we have left? We have to get ready to read some poetry, don't we?
That's right. Not expecting that. Nice.
I'm going to make myself nuts with these sound effects. All right, Zach, where are we starting?
First up, we have Pac-Man's piece. Is that mine or yours?
You're starting, Zach. Okay. I'm sorry, I forgot to give you that message. We're lined up for you to read first.
All right. This is Hear the Wind by Pac-Man. Full many a king has reigned, their reputation gleamed. Castles remain stained with dreams not yet redeemed. Each regal heart betrayed, their subjects left to sigh. Their monuments decayed, their vows in silence die. The pharaohs wielded might as slaves raised stone on stone. Their tombs outlast the light, yet whisper not their own. The poet's quill has dried, laurel leaves fade to tears. The song that once defied is lost to passing years. The scholar's careful lore, the saint's enduring creed, the truth through learned restore, but dust the mortal need. For gold not glory stays, though kings with arrogance sinned, a remembrance of life decays, yet we but hear the wind. End poem.
Oh, Pac-Man. Great, right. This is a little different than what we normally see from Pac-Man. It's more I guess grounded in history and stuff like that. Most of his writings are more about personal events and telling stories. So I like what he did here with Hear the Wind. And I wondered when the title was read, what was coming, because Hear the Wind, is it the winds of change? That's kind of what I thought, was winds of change, like it was going to be a poem about change and such. But as it turns out, I think it's more of a warning to society to pay attention to what's going on, because things are happening, and it isn't about what you achieve in riches and possessions and things like that, which was the lesson to the pharaohs. Sure, they enslaved people and they had all this gold and these fancy things, but in the end, what did they end up? Dead, just like everybody else, is my opinion of that. And the way he closed, for gold not glory stays, though kings with arrogance sinned, a remnants of life decays. Yet we we but hear the wind. Powerful. Zach, I'm getting a feedback from you. Can you
More
hear it?
feedback. I cannot. I could do the unmute mute thing again.
Yeah, try it because it come back up. Now it's clear as a bell, but there was a lot of
Oh,
feedback there right at the end. And I wondered if you could hear it on your end. It's like last week, what did we have? I had beeps or something like that I could hear on my end, and you said no, I didn't hear any of it. I was like, thank God.
oh no! I hope this isn't
It's
a reoccurring thing, because that could be annoying.
Well, I mean, if you have to mute and come back, you have to mute and come back. It's no big
Hmm.
deal to me. I'll just let you know, that way you're not overrun when you're speaking by background noise that you can't hear. So it's funny how that works, isn't it? I
It
mean,
is. It is
you
noise I
can't
can't
hear it
even hear. Right.
in your earphones, but I'm hearing it now. I
Yeah.
am noting something on the board here. I'm going back and forth from excellent to I went down to a poor connection, so I know sometimes that'll add to it. So we apologize for any inconvenience with that. Uh, let's see, Zach, your turn. You want to evaluate this one? Great read,
Oh,
by the way.
sure. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. I really like how Pac-Man invoked ancient civilizations here, specifically the Egyptians, with the pyramids. I think like despite he kind of highlights the human toll, and also how like each I mean, it's kind of almost like absurd how many how many riches are kind of like stuffed into like the tombs, and how like that's kind of where the emphasis is placed, and not on, you know, um the masses. I feel like a lot of the lore is kind of centered on pharaohs, and uh this kind of turns away from that a little bit, and also I think like the sort of in this case, this is one of those instances where the pen is mightier than the sword, uh, because those second to last two stanzas kind of emphasize that for me, that like that sort of outlasts sort of the materialism of the pharaohs in a way. um, for gold not glory stays, though kings with arrogance sinned, a remembrance of life decays, yet we hear the wind. That just kind of seems like this, um, that's it's just kind of like the remnants of a civilization that has long since disappeared, but like all that's left is the wind. In a way, it's kind of haunting, that last image, the way it retreats. And I kind of just like this. This is not the usual from Pac-Man. I agree, but like I really sort of enjoy the way it reads too. It's evenly spaced with the rhyme and the meter, and it's kind of fun to read that way. Are you on mute, Bill?
Oh, look at that. Boy, I'm off my game so far, and I seriously went on for like 30 seconds, Zach,
Oh no.
before you said I was on mute. I was like, oh, I sure am. It's funny because what I was doing was I'm trying to badger Erin, who's the only person on the board, into calling in, see if she wants to read hers, which is up next currently.
Hmm.
So, well, I'll go ahead and read it. I don't think she's gonna want to call and read it, but we'll see. Ah, and I was going to say, what I was trying to say was Pac-Man is our current
That's
quote
right.
of the
Quote
month
of the
as
month. Should mention
well.
that. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, Zach, you ready to move on? I'm going to try to get it together, Zach. You're running on everything. The only thing I can say is I can hang my hat on getting here because I've been busy all week.
Mm, I hear you.
So when you're
So
ready to
next,
move on, I think I am.
sure. Next up we have Aaron Farrow's piece.
Aaron Farrow's piece, Together Always. He braids the starlight into my eyelashes as a meeting of minds. He carries me forward when my legs forget their abides. The number of my hairs are counted methodically with tender care. The wisdom he shares arrives on a crow's wing. Though laced with dark wings, the light refracts in prisms. Glittered text enumerated the gifts of circumvent and happenstance that comes as a tornado's phase. Excuse me. Scarred and humbled as a child's grace in the form of a white-winged dove. Blue-lined eyes remind me of green with no envy, as though grass has sprouted from my spring fingertips. Almond blossoms fill the cavity of my chest in every color of the rainbow. The mix, a reminder of all that will be in the meaning of free. A gilded promise of a love that will last even beyond the death of this aging skin. He counts my crepe paper wrinkles to remember every memory written across time in poetry. He reads every edge and the silvered in between. To know me completely is his greatest accomplishment. Knowing is his forte. In a world of competition, we shed like fur the beliefs of such a thing. We're made to share in the twilight hours of the morning. We grenade the ego to smithereens. There's coupling here where the needs are met like a grandmother's kiss, perfectly timed and delivered with cars. We make our home out of lion's mane. The mushrooms renew our height. Together, always, no matter the fight. End poem. Oh boy. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Oh wow, yeah, this was a great piece. This was beautiful love poem, really. It was a simultaneous character study, and almost like it had a lot of notes about like nature too, and melding with like love. And I really enjoyed how especially the speaker's partner looked after her in a way, like loved her completely, as it were. And every wrinkle, every imperfection, every flaw, every like good thing, every just I just like how like that sort of love is sort of akin or just akin to like nature in a way. Like that sort of comparison is just kind of lovely, kind of like with birds, kind of has that same ardent sort of care. uh and it's I just kind of like how that sort of that love is sort of emphasized by nature, and melding together with the imagery of the sort of the domestic life that is kind of beautiful the way these two are living. It's just peaceful in a way, and very sweet as well. I really enjoyed this piece.
I did too, Zach. Well said. It didn't feel like it was new at all, did it? I loved the fact that it mentioned down towards the end. There's coupling here where the needs are met, like a grandmother's kiss. So absolutely nothing erotic in any way implied by that, but this deep love, this deep kindness, just that is such a smooth way of describing it. I thought, the caring, not the kiss, not the physicality of the kiss, but the emotion behind it, the dedication, the longevity, how beautiful everything truly is in a wonderful way. And her descriptors, the colors she used and things like that, were very nice and it was very well crafted. because it felt very kind to me, very kind and very comfortable and very comforting. It was a beautiful piece, Aaron. Thank you for submitting it and allowing us to read it and share a smile with you. What do you think, Zach? We ready to move on?
Sure. Next up, we have Mike Horsfall's piece, and that's Remembrance. In the always night of my darkened eyes, this haze, these quiet lights emerge from morning mist, lifting from an ice-cold tarn at the touch of dawn. Gentle, uncertain, the dark reveals the moon as it melts into my view. A soft, luminous blur drawn over twilight's hush, whispering, "See me," to the edges of this endless darkness. Diamonds flicker, fizzling awake, shy sparkles touching the vast darkness, frantic flashes of forgotten fireflies glowing faint, glitter across a wind-swept sea on waves of dark, saying in subtle gleam, "We never left," inviting the eye to remember, the heart to weep, to look without fear. This sight, no triumphant blaze, no glorious color, but a humble dawn, unfolding the darkness in layers of hushed glow. Sparks shimmer, emerge from shadow's soulless space, a world reknitted in threads of silver white patience, where blindness echo lingers like a trusted friend, yielding slowly to the night. And then, this dampness on my weathered cheek, not from pain, but from the quiet remembrance. End poem.
Mike went out on hiatus for a couple of months there. He had some things going on first of the year, and we dearly missed him because of pieces like this. Such a beautiful piece. Well read too, Zach. I'm going to give you kudos on that. Mike laid it out here where there was this just deep, palpable emotion and thought and pondering and all of that. I love the way he's talking about reviewing memories and being caught in those thoughts, and then the way he ends it, and then this dampness on my weathered cheek, not from pain but from the quiet remembrance. That says there were so many beautiful memories going through his head, and it's a life well lived is what it's saying to me. I feel this way too. I think about some things that, back whenever it happened may have been a little traumatizing or disregarded, but then you remember them years and years later, and there's a patina to them that you don't get in the moment. It takes time to get that patina. And once you get that patina, you look upon those memories very fondly, and it's a beautiful thing. What do you think, Zach?
Oh yeah, this one was another great sort of nocturnal piece for Mike. He does I think he's written a handful of these nocturnal pieces. I enjoy them. And he plays with light in a way that I really think is neat here. The absence of light and darkness. And it's where these sort of nocturnal memories really take root. And just a second, my dad's knocking at the door. I'll be right back.
Let's see. Let's talk about a little bit that's coming up here moving forward. Let's see. We've mentioned the change. We'll have the change in Podbean potentially, or at least Podbean's
Apologies.
the way they do things. That's okay, Zach. Can you gather up your thoughts and get back to where you were? Or?
Absolutely. Yeah. So these nocturnal memories, they were sort of the night really brings them out. I think, like, in a way, it's like kind of like when you're looking up at the sky. I feel like that's such a that sort of behavior is so sort of like childlike in a way. It's sort of a way that like harkens back to childhood. In a sense, I feel like the speaker is drawing upon that same sort of reflection, that same sort of like wonder in a way when he's kind of looking back at these memories, and he's I don't know, the darkness kind of brings that out in a way. It's just
it kind of brings that sort of that level of introspection that kind of brings one to tears sometimes. And that's what this kind of reminds me of. And I really enjoyed it. It's odd how sometimes like these how darkness could sometimes bring out these thoughts like these light thoughts. Not always traumatic. They can be, sure, but like I feel like the brightness of them too kind of I don't know, like it's powerful, like you said. Yeah, I really enjoyed this piece.
That's exactly right, Zach. And I think contrast. I love the contrast between the dark and the light, Zach. And I
Hmm.
always say this: the contrast when you have an overall dark piece, like Mike did there, but yet there's these glimmering highlights of the light, is so beautiful. And he did it masterfully there. I really love the way he did it. You did too. It was a great deal. What do we got now, Zach?
Oh, next up is that's you, man.
All righty. I will give it a read, but I'm going to go through and I'm going to start this, and then I'm going to let everybody know where it came from in the author's notes. The Only Dream I Know by Unexpected Bill. Spring's blossoming heart beats again. Winter's chill will fade. Fall's gentle colors crumble. Summer's a thunderous memory. Our hearts, like the seasons, change. We had our spring so long ago, I will always remember fondly. No regrets, no remorse. Love was in season in the beginning. Summer's sun shone bright on us. It was our greatest season. The thunder clapped, lightning struck. We raged, a passionate season. Fall began, the green went away. Our trees, our leaves were wilting. We piled them up without any thought. The seasons, our love was changing. Winter came in with a cold, harsh wind, the frost, the snow. It's bitter. Every day's so lonely and gray. We suffer this season together. Our garden was planted with intent to be tended by us forever. Petunias and zinnias, annual seeds, seeded and blooming all summer. We both now know how gardens grow. Perennials come back each year. Mother of time and daffodils, bulbs and seeds I'm planting. As our winter changes to our springs, I'll cherish all the memories. Our photo book is like a dream, and love's the only dream I know. Heartbreak is a painful thing. We've lived it way too long. I'll hug the pain, embrace the love. The seasons, our hearts, are beautiful. End poem. In the author's notes, I want to read these two, Zach. In the author's notes, I listed, I listened to an old John Denver song titled Seasons of the Heart. I'm including the link to it from YouTube because it is a very moving performance. He gets emotional and his voice shakes a bit early on. The inspiration for this piece comes directly from that song. It is very powerful to me. What are your thoughts, Zach?
This is a beautiful piece. I don't remember reading this one. If I do, it's a while back. But I like how, especially, how the seasons were akin to the faces of the speaker's love for another person. These literal changes of the sort of the seasons we're enacting, starting with spring. I know that's your favorite. Um, it makes sense to kind of start that way too. It's kind of like renewal and um some the space for new things to kind of take root and grow. And I like these how these changes sort of complement each other and this within the seasonal shifts and the subtle sort of shifts of love too. You can kind of sense how there's like a sort of like a hot cold sort of dynamic too, and I like how the speaker embraces it all, embraces the heartbreak and the warmth and the cold and everything about it. The colors too, I like too, the flowers. um yeah, I just my favorite part was probably how the seasons were were kind of likened to stages of love, and possibly very personal to the speaker, and I really enjoyed that.
Thank you, Zach. Now, I'm going to say this first and foremost. Okay, this isn't. This is not necessary. This is written off the emotion of John Denver in this song.
Right,
So
right.
that's the inspiration, and I encourage everybody click the link. I included the YouTube link there. Click it and listen to it if you read the poem, because you'll understand where the inspiration come from. And I'm going to say this. I've said this in all my comments too. I think, believe it or not, John Denver is probably underrated and underappreciated even after so long in his artistic integrity and humanity. Unquestionable, one of the highest. I mean, I remember the PMRC days when he was testifying for D. Snyder of Twisted Sister, and how he should have the right to make his music, even though John Denver didn't appreciate his music. He should have the right to make it. So that should be said. John Denver was a great human being when it comes to the arts of all kinds. And this song inspired me. I hadn't heard it. I remember listening to him on the Muppet Show and, all that stuff when he was a guest on there when I was young all the time. But I hadn't heard it, and it just grabbed me, and it just really, I mean, you can tell by the right, it moved me emotionally. And listening to him sing it, it was like the words just came to me with the seasons and the change and all of that, and the arc of the stages of love, just like you said, Zach. That's what it is. But I particularly like it, and when I wrote it, I was very pleased when I come up with this line: as our winter changes to our springs, plural, meaning breakup. Clearly stated there, and there's no question about it and how it ended. But I felt like I was trying to write something that matched the growing emotional depth of John Denver's song as he performed it. And thank you, Zach. I'm glad you did read this before, but I knew it had been a while, so I thought this is going to be fresh on Zach's mind whenever he hears it. Awesome. All right, man. What do we got next?
All right. Next up, we have Purple Gerber's piece, and that's Resume. Okay. My qualifications include writing and photographing my moments and overthinking about them later, or anticipate worse judgments. I take pride in saying that I used to be a prodigy in dance. Now I will hide away from the spotlight the second I get a chance. I indulge in reading contemporary novels or even Dostoevsky, Austen, or Wordsworth, but unfortunately, I can't read between lines or decide my own worth or decode my own worth. I love baking for my loved ones, and I feel relaxed when I cook. Don't ask how it all tastes though, but it's more edible than it looks. You could say I like to do everything, but be absolutely nothing. But recently, I've taken a liking to scar my hands on guitar strings. I do like trying new hobbies and enhance and degrade my own ability. I also specialize in criticizing myself in the name of being witty. My counselor said the other day it's called being a multi-potentialite. Yes, it sounds very flattering, but it gives me a fright. But I must say, all these qualifications and having these creative gifts means I'm a master in none, but in one, to so effortlessly shapeshift from an intellectual to an impersonator, turning a fraud into a photographer. I could be anything, or I could be anybody you like. I could be a poet or a performer. So yes, I am mostly a good person, with frequent crises in identity, armed with hobbies, half-made plans, but still calling this mindset creativity. I take criticisms too well, because that's all I know. I'm quite loyal to everything but me. You won't have a reason to say no, so rest assured, if you choose to hire, I could be a good use despite a multidisciplinary liar. End poem.
Now, thank you for laughing with me there, Zach, because this had a funny cuteness to it. it's self-deprecating. Clearly, she's
Oh yeah.
she's she's talking about some things, that she does. She gathers interest in so many things, and they were all listed. Lots of these things were listed there, but she gets this interest in them and then gives up and goes away. I'm victim of that as well. But the fact that she titled this resume did intrigue me. I was very curious as to what was coming, and it didn't disappoint because it had this self-deprecating humor to it that I appreciated, it was honest. This is how Purple views herself in certain places and certain things and stuff like that. She's really good at apparently gathering interest and being interested in something, but it never sticks. It doesn't seem like poetry has, though. Purple, that's good because we enjoy reading these rights, and it was very sweet, very honest, and very well put together to where there was I didn't feel bad for reading it like she was beating herself up. I felt like she was looking at herself and evaluating and reflecting on what she made good at and what she could improve at. Zach, I'm hearing the...
Oh, again?
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
All right. Hopefully that's better.
There it's good.
All right. Yeah, I suspect it might be my fans for my computer. They're a little bit, they run a little bit loud sometimes. I think that might be like a constant, it's just
you have
constant
to
noise.
overclock it and create heat and I know my son does that too. He's got his big power built computer and he's like, that really creates a lot of
fans. Heat. Yeah, it does. He's right. You gotta cool those components.
You damn gamers, man. You're all the same. You got to get the kill shot off faster, don't you?
Gotta do what you gotta do, man. Yep.
All right, you ready, Zach?
Yeah. I also like the humor of this piece and how the speaker practically defines self-deprecation in a way. And I like how, especially self-aware, this piece is. This very tongue-in-cheek and very self-aware, not lacerating to the self at all, not like beating the self up, but rather just self-deprecating in sort of like a healthy way. I like that, and inviting not criticism, but like just like unabashedly herself, and I just really enjoy sort of the ability that like the speaker has this chameleon sort of aspect about her to kind of shapeshift into whatever really she wants to be. She's not like a master of any of these trades or anything like that, but she's what is it? A jack of all trades, but a master of none. I think that's what it is. And I think that's kind of an asset for the speaker, and I like that. Like that she is sort of has all these hobbies, and that's sort of a good place to be. And there's definitely I think a trajectory here in the speaker's personality, and there's a sense of what the speaker is, what the speaker and what the speaker wants to be. Essentially, I think that there's a place that was, despite the humor, like there's sort of like a place the speaker really wants to be in. I think that's not like, it's a little bit different from where she's at currently, but I still like that sort of wanting to kind of like evolve a little bit. That's what I got a sense from this piece. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Zach. And it is jack of all trades and master of none. But this also implies youthfulness,
right?
Because there's an introspective part to this, but the fact that nothing has stuck as far as hobbies and things like that, and she's unsure of who she is exactly, that'll all sort itself out in time. That's what growing up is. It's a good piece. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. It was really fun. Thank God you laughed too, Zach, because I was like, should I laugh? Should I not? And then you giggled, and I was like, yes.
Oh, the last two were like that. I really enjoyed those pieces from her.
Yeah, for those people that are first time listeners or haven't listened much, we draw all our poetry from our group, the Quill and Parchment Society. We put them in. We don't ask for themes. We don't ask for anything. This comes from our group reading list. We pull the pieces that are there and we read them in that order. So we could go from dark, disturbed, sad, sensual, anything goes. It all goes because it's all just equally as valid. And I'm glad we're laughing now, Zach, because
Oh yeah.
God only knows which way it's going to turn now. So what do we got next, Zach?
Oh yeah. Next up we have Mario's piece, and I think that's your read, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it is
Okay.
mine. Okay, A Viking Tale, Battle Orders by Mario with 3 O's.
Rios.
My dear ravens, Midgard was blessed with Vikingar who bore our blades. Thy men were shamed. Thy men were shamed for 10 long winters by those who perched our trees from peace. My dear wolflings, at our first light we shall set sail towards the east for our own lands and honor our fathers with blood and mead. We shall again taste our ice-tipped fangs. Our longships shall whelm hostile shores, until thy crow for truce and offer mead and spruce. Mead at dusk, raid at dawn. Either way, Eric Bloodaxe's clan shall fall beneath our blades. Let our clan be forged together with blood and love. Ska. End poem.
Hmm. I like this piece. This is cool. I like it seemed like a monologue to from like a Viking leader to like his to his warriors essentially. Um and it's I like how he addresses them as wolflings. And they seem especially like he's really sort of hyping them up in a way. And they kind of reminds me of one of the monologues from this movie called The Northman, but it just the same kind of like Viking atmosphere sort of pervades this poem. And I really like I enjoyed like how the language makes it seem not contemporary, but I like that about it. It seems like a much older piece because of that. Um, and it's really an intention to raid and pillage essentially a village. And so it's battle orders for sure. Like this is the intention, you know. Yeah, it's a good piece. I was not expecting this one from Mario. He also kind of tends to employ some humor sometimes, but this one I didn't really find too much humor in.
Wasn't much humor to it. It definitely wasn't a Viking like Hagar the Horrible. It was more about pillage and plunder, and I think they liked their mead too.
That's right. Yeah, they do. I forgot about
they
like the lead.
they clearly like their mead too, don't they? He mentions it more than one
He
time.
does.
They have it in the evening. They have it before battle. I'm sure they have it after battle, and they win it from battle. So it might be just about getting that mead down their throat and enjoying it, and whatever other plunders they can get from sacking the direction that they're going. But it sounded like a pep rally for Viking chaos. Berserkers. Do you that term?
Ah,
Berserkers. That was an old Viking term. It came from warriors that chanted like they spoke in tongues, and they would whiz around and throw their axes and do all sorts of crazy stuff. And it scared the bejesus out of all the Saxons that had never seen that. They were like, "Oh my God, what is this coming at us?" That's what this is. This is the leader getting his clan up for a berserker attack, and it's going to be really bad. The results are going to be good for them, but it's going to be really bad, and death and dismemberment everywhere, chaos ensuing. It really was. And I agree with you, Zach, what you said. Mario has this sometimes very direct humor and sometimes some indirect humor, but this piece wasn't funny at all. It was death and chaos and, gut check, let's go, boys. Off to battle we go. Loved it. I really did enjoy the piece. It was nice to read something that was that aggressive, but not dark in a weird way. It didn't feel dark, but it was very aggressive. So well done. What do we got next, Zach?
All right. Next up, we have Scarlet Knight's piece, and that's reckless or stupid. Some label. Some label me as reckless, perhaps stupid, depending on how gently they say it. They say what I do is dangerous, like letting a friend take me into the woods with only filming gear and knives. They don't see how soothing the whittling process is, nor how filming it could bring me peace. They only see potential harm, sharp blades, remote location, and no escape, but in it I find peace. Wandering off in the middle of the night, streets with no sidewalk, trails with no name. They don't see how the stars shine brighter when the city is far behind you, the cosmic dust smiling down upon me. They don't see how they bring me peace. They only see idiocy. Locations that no one knows and concealing darkness, but in it I find peace. Climbing rocky faces, jagged stone washed slippery by the sea. They don't see how fulfilling the climb is. Don't feel the rush as you reach the top, the warm victory of the sun on your face. They only see a bad idea, no ropes to catch, no backup plan. But in it I find peace. People say I'm reckless, stupid, reckless, and full of bad ideas, constantly playing ding dong ditch with death's door, knowing every time might be the one he catches me. People say I'm reckless. Maybe I am, but danger brings peace, and I don't really care what they think. M. Paul.
This was very familiar to me. I snickered because Scarlett actually asked me to read it and make sure it was okay for the podcast. And I said it's absolutely okay for the podcast. Scarlett, we'll read anything. We don't care. We like it all. So she when she mentioned it, she was like, well, it just seems like, people think I'm crazy for the things I'm doing, because I'm going to read her author's notes now. These are actual things I've done. My video teacher is convinced I'm insane because of the sheer number of men I've let take me into the woods with potentially dangerous items. They were people I trusted, and I made it out alive. The night air is fresher and the sea air sweeter from high up. So what if I'm reckless? And I understood that because I am 52 years old, firmly entrenched in Generation X, and I don't ride my motorcycle with a helmet to this day. And it isn't because of anything that I consciously think about. It's just because my generation, we were jumping bikes over everything we could jump over. And we were, latchkey kids living kind of recklessly in a lot of ways. But my generation, I recognize this spirit from my generation because you feel alive when you're out in it. That night air that she's describing, and these events, climbing rock faces and stuff like that. I've jumped off cliffs that are 75 feet high. You asked me to do that today, I'm not doing it. But whenever I was young, I certainly did. Me and my buddies, we did all sorts of just silly, dumb things, and it was to feel alive is what it was. Because what's the point of being alive if you're not living? And I get it. Adrenaline junkies, X Games, all that stuff applies. So, what are your thoughts, Zach?
I really enjoyed this piece. I thought that I like how it was very grounded in reality. I enjoyed that, and this really embodies
how the speaker and how a lot of folks, this is kind of how I like to sometimes, well, not this exact way, but like getting away from it all involves going outside sometimes, and and it's peaceful, and whittling's like that. I've done that. That's fun to do actually, but like the tools are, people think that's disconcerting, but it's really a peaceful activity. Uh, it's kind of benign. You know, you're outside and there's nobody else, and I don't know. It's out in the forest too, essentially, and the stars are out, and it kind of makes a difference where the setting is when you're doing all that, as opposed to like near the city. I think it like hits different when you're outdoors and just kind of in away from civilization, and I like that how removed from all of the hustle and bustle that the speaker is, and I kind of like that the most about this piece. I think the speaker kind of finds herself in nature in a way, despite maybe that I mean, maybe the recklessness is okay in a way. I think that in this sense, I think that's okay in this context, to kind of explore a bit, and yeah, I don't think it's crazy. It's just it totally makes sense in the context of this poem, to kind of just go outside and really just enjoy oneself.
Absolutely couldn't agree more. Mother Nature brings this peacefulness to you, even though you know it's dangerous out there. All right, what do we got next, Zach?
All right. Next up, we have Dark Night of the Souls piece.
Okay, here we go. This is The Sound of Music in 16 lines. Austria, twirl. The hills are alive. Nun Maria is a problem. No jive. Governess for the kids who aren't so keen. Lizzle is 16, going on 17. Thunder, scared kids. Maria lists her favorite things. Playware of old drapes bring out the bling. Do re mi, Maria, a teaching songstress. George, the daddy, engaged to the Baroness. Kids like Maria better, all of Salzburg can tell. Singing to the Baroness, so long, farewell. Edelweiss, soft and white, bless the homeland forever. Maria and George find something good together. Singing at a festival. Nazis want them to stay. 17 going on 18. Rolf gives them away. They sing, they escape over the Swiss hills. Top grossing flick of 65. Made 160 mil in poem. All right, Zach, what are your thoughts?
Oh, um, I like how this piece kind of intersects like the sound of music with like modern, or not modern, but like history. Um, but like there's also like some humor in it too. Like I admit I'm not too knowledgeable about the sound of music. I know that Julie Andrews movie is like, I haven't seen much of it. I just know very minimal things. So this kind of actually might inform me a little bit more so than most other things have. Um, so some of it admittedly is unfamiliar, but I still like how some of the language sort of is almost idiosyncratic, like almost like how jive is mentioned and how bling is mentioned too. I like that sort of how those modern terms kind of fit in here. Um, and the humor kind of I know some of the language of the film is makes its way into the piece itself. And I like how it rhymes, so it makes it kind of hit different. Like it reads kind of easy that way. It just I like the way these lines were presented. Yeah, I just feel like I learned something.
Yeah, I did too, Zach. I learned that last line, top grossing flick of 65, made 160 mil. I thought, well, that's nothing. That wouldn't even get mentioned. People would want their money back with a film that made that. But then you add into, the time frame and the difference in the dollar, all of that stuff. And sure, big deal. It's a big difference. But The Sound of Music is one of those musicals that everybody kind of knows. But I am ignorant to the plot. I've never seen it. All of that. My daughter is currently, and I'm going to add this in, is currently. That's why I've been busy all week. She just finished the play they did at school, and she did one last year, and both were musicals, and she's really into them, and I've been into them too recently. Some of my favorites are really good. I would suggest you look into some of the newer musicals that are out and around, because they're really well written and modern pieces. But I love what Zach said, to get back to the point here with Doug's piece. I love what Zach said about how one of the things that Dark Knight of the Soul does very well, that I noticed right from the beginning, is pick his spots to place little nuggets, to drop these things that may make you not really turn around completely, but it brings it a different flavor than if you just wrote it, simply describing the piece eloquently, or something, describing what he's describing in The Sound of Music eloquently here. So he gives you enough of the old and then peppers in enough of the new, drops those little nuggets here and there to where it feels fresh and new and all that. And that's a great skill to have. Dark Knight does it very well. And once again, it's not a dark piece. Well done, Dark Knight. We enjoyed it.
All right.
I
We're
knew
really,
what was next.
yeah,
I never know till you tell me. I knew this time.
yeah. You kind of get a sense now of the rhythm. The rhythms, yeah, you know by now.
Uh-huh.
Yep. All right. Next up is my piece. And yeah, I guess this one's a part of a series that I've been doing, or once did, about the seasons and romance. And this one is about spring. I figured it'd be kind of appropriate, um, being spring and all. And this one's one of my favorite romantic pieces I've written. So, okay, you bloom. I lay on a floral cloud, laughing out loud. Purple blazing stars rise from the ground. Shooting stars grow up their roots, soaking up sunshine, ready to seduce. With fragrant flesh as thin petals swell, towering over columbine, over bluebell. Rising high, stalks reach the shining sky. A breeze bends, petals spread wide. Purple and blue flurries catch your hair, striding with the flowers, porcelain pale. Circling colors catch your drifting dress. You whirl, sparkling with deep breaths. Issuing from the lips I've longed to kiss, flush and pink, and killer with lipstick. We both like your softness darker, letting me explore your mouth deeper. Tipping your head back, the scent of rain, our tied tongues playing secret games. No losers left, we peel off our clothes. Alabaster orbs bloom with cherry roses. Honey drips a slow course down below. Rills run a sweet flow to meet curled toes. Collapsing upon a bed of grassy earth, behold another, shaking with mirth. Two statues sweating under the sun, join together until their day is done. And the sun donned his yellow cap, while our kisses conjure thunderclaps. Lady Moon espies our romance, smiling, waits for her man, the sun, to come running. Love waits, and flowers blossom around. You and I slumber and stir on this ground, blooming nature's floral crown. End poem.
Good job, Zach, reading that. So I actually couldn't wait because I've already commented on this one, but I've never heard you read it. I just heard you read it for the first time, and it was really good as you read it in the way you intended it to be read. I'm going to go back and I'm going to read my comment here. You can share the author's notes and things like that if you want after that. But because I had read this piece before, I want to read what my fresh thoughts were and then move on from there. I've not read much from you in the way of romantic pieces, Zach. And the reason that's important is because I've read a lot of Zach's pieces and he has read a lot of mine because we were friends before we started here in this group. And we shared poetry quite a bit in a previous group that we were in. This one is strong and delicate. I think the image is not necessary, but a welcome accompaniment to your excellent choice of words. The flow is soft and smooth. It kind of waltzed along in a seductive dance. Your thoughts were very well conveyed in this piece. Issuing from the lips I have longed to kiss. Blush and pink and killer with lipstick. Those two lines were a transitional point and my favorites. To me, as I read this, you went from a pretty piece to a piece that reeks of blooming desire. Well done, man, and congrats on the front page pick, Parchy. Nicely penned. I got to thinking there while I was talking about it and
Yeah.
thinking about the piece. So you did so well, Zach, ramping up the sensuality, the sensual, the desire part of it. It really wasn't. I don't think it was exactly going to the point of sensual where there was an implied anything other than the beginning of a potential relationship. And you titled it "You Bloom." Now I'm going to let you take over and tell us what it is, Zach.
Yeah, thanks, man. You definitely you hit the nail on the head. It's meant to be uh kind of like a sensual piece, but not too heavy on the sensuality. It's mostly supposed to uh be sort of more soft than like hmm. It's supposed to be just kind of delicate, like you said. That's kind of the word that kind of exemplifies the entire piece in a way. It's not meant to be. There's a little bit of darkness too, a little tiny bit, but like, you know, in terms of where my darkness goes, this isn't remotely close to that. This is something different.
Not dark at all compared to what darkness I've read from you, Zach. You are correct. This had a pinch of darkness in it, is what it had. It wasn't dark at all.
That's right. All right. So yeah, that thanks again. Yeah, that was that piece. So next up we have Jeg 325's piece.
I'm sorry, Zach. I didn't
Oh,
mean to cut you off there. I was just
no,
trying to
I was
assist. If
done.
you have more about
I
it,
was done. No, I said
okay.
enough.
I think you said enough when you wrote it because it was very clear.
Mm.
It was very clear. What a beautiful piece, Zach. It was nice to see you do something that was outside the box for you.
Oh,
Too,
for
because it
sure. A
was.
little bit different. Yeah.
And I think you sent it to me fairly quickly after you wrote it because you wanted me to read it and give you my thoughts. And it helps. It helps that you and I trust each other in that respect as far as
absolutely.
reading and evaluating each other's poetry. You got to have somebody to bounce some things off of from time to time to see how they read to somebody that hasn't read them or didn't write them for sure. All right. I'm sorry, Zach. I digress.
Oh,
Where
no.
are we at?
Oh, next up we have Jeg 325's piece.
I always count on you to steer me back to where we were because I might
got you,
hit
man.
a button
I got you.
and I was way off the link that I should have been on. So this is Empty by Jeg 325. So the picture, if you can't see it out there, is the image is, it says, "That empty place in my bed." And there's a ball of sheets and stuff with, an empty sheet exposed. So it's kind of a really powerful image with those words attached to it. Silence spread across the room, an unending, dismal flame, a faceless ghost that wandered in and out of night's frame. Flocks of questions circled above like ravens with black wings, while cold winds whispered stories about long forgotten things. The moon spilled its ivory light through a rain-streaked window, illuminating an empty bed, surrounded by waiting shadows. End poem. Another powerful one by Jag. Short, compact, and right to the gut. Your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, this one was depressing, depressing, lonely too. There was a sense of loneliness and lack of sound. I like how the speaker plays with sound here, or rather lack of, and plays with space too, and and in the space there's like a lack of movement and a lot of thought and reflections about things that have happened, questions that are circling the speaker like ravens, and these things don't sound like positive associations, and like these kind of like nocturnal thoughts take kind of like a turn for the worse, essentially, in a way, and it's I think because of the loneliness felt by the speaker, I think like is amplified. It kind of amplifies these thoughts, and the emptiness in the bed rather is I think like you kind of feel the aching loneliness or the yearning felt by the speaker, and yeah, it's powerful.
Jeg does so well with this brevities, just packing in so much thought and emotion in such a tiny space. He's really crafted this, and I say this all the time, but it's something that I admire because it's hard to say a lot. People go to haiku sometimes because I do. Sometimes when I'm stuck writing, I go to haiku just so I can start gathering thoughts and get my mind warmed up and back on track. But Jeg does this so well that this was very depressing. Like Zach said, when I was reading it, I was like, oh, this is sad. This is sad and sucky. I hate feeling this way. But good thing I only had to feel that way very powerfully for what, 5, 6 short stanzas? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 short stanzas. But it moved me so much as I was reading it. And that's what I love about what we do here. We read it, and I'm hoping the inflection in my voice changes whenever, the sadness sinks in or the giggle and stuff, because that is an ultimate, what I believe is the ultimate compliment to the poet, to elicit that kind of emotion from a reader in real live, time, to hear it. Oh, Bill laughed at my poem because it was funny. Zach started getting sad and said it's very depressing because it was depressing. That's how it was meant to be written. Great piece, Jag. I really, for anybody that's ever felt the sting of emptiness, and I do want to read the author's notes too, and it just simply states, emptiness isn't a state of mind, it's a state of being. And that makes so much sense to me because it affects you in your mind. But if you're empty because you're not surrounded by anything, there's nothing to engage your mind, so you're going to stay in that emptiness, and it's going to build. It's not going to get better. It's just going to be empty for longer. We're ready to move on, Zach, to the next piece?
Oh, absolutely. Next up, we have Garden Delight's piece, and that's Burning Without Flames. Consumed by fire, ignited by hate, a winter stripped of human warmth, your bed a frozen tundra, brittle words crumble as you speak. A flameless burn creeps through your veins. Liquid loneliness drips from fiery emotions, trapped inside, release, denied, end poem.
Well, we did it again, didn't we?
Oh, wow.
Right to the gut.
Yeah,
A little bit of sadly depressing. When there's this picture I'm going to describe is it's very simple, but it's an outline in shadow of what appears to be a woman's head and shoulders and all of that. And you could tell there's some serious thought, and she's clearly saddened and distraught. So the tone of this one is much like the same of the tone of the one in front of it. And it is very simply and shortly written, but it's very powerful again. So, I mean, picking out a line or two that you appreciated is going to be hard to do in a poem, this condensed, because all the lines had this power, and the use of the space. If you're going to write something short like that, it can't be something that doesn't elicit emotions. This piece does exactly what it should do in that short space. It should really grab hold of you right from the first sentence, and it should hang on to you and just put you where the writer wants you to be. And this does it in spades, because it was sad the way it ended with just trapped inside, release denied. I like that little rhyme there at the end, the way it hammers home the point, and it really makes it stick like a lawn dart going in your heart's what it felt like to me. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, this was another depressing one. This time playing with temperature, the concept of temperature, motifs of fire and ice, alternating ice and fire, but like mostly ice. And I think like also the ice feeling like a burn, because ice, I feel like that feeling is very similar to like a burning sensation. The two are very similar, almost interchangeable. A flameless burn creeps through your veins. That what a kind of an oxymoron that is, a flameless burn. This kind of like you can feel that sort of iciness, and I like that line too. A winter stripped of human warmth is another one. That kind of very cold line. Your bed of frozen tundra, yet another one, and you can kind of feel where that speaker is, essentially in bed, just immobile, kind of trapped and cold. Essentially, there's a sense of loneliness too. I think the bed lacking warmth in a sense, and maybe because someone else isn't there to keep the bed warm. The release is denied. The trapped inside, that sort of feeling of loneliness. I think it's powerful.
I would feel sad and lonely and empty if I wasn't fighting for my pillow and my space every night in the bed. So I understand that piece just had power and described it so well. That feeling of emptiness. Are we ready to move on, Zach?
Yes. Next up we have LOL's piece with two L's. That's everlasting. Oh, that's yours. I was about to read.
It is titled Everlasting Love. Okay, and Lowell sent this Suno link because she'd seen that I'd done some Suno stuff too. So Suno, for those of you that don't know, it's an app that you can do AI music. You can write your poetry, or you can write a song and you can send it through Suno and it'll generate the music. Now, I can't play it on here because it has to be an MP3 and I don't want to get into that kind of stuff. But what I will mention is our own Merv Graham did a contest just recently. I think he allowed 25 entries in, and you entered your piece, and I believe he converted it to a Suno track and then allowed you to hear your poem or your song that you wrote put to music. It was a fantastic idea. I'm familiar with Suno. This is where the intro and exit music for this podcast come from. Suno, I created it there. So it's really kind of fun to play with, and lots of people are messing with it, because if you don't have time or don't have talent, can't learn how to play an instrument, you can still create beautiful music all by yourself in this app. So that's what it's for. So the picture of this is the moon and the sun, male and female, and they're so intertwined and flowing. It's just gorgeous. The picture is just gorgeous. So I'm going to get on with the piece. It's titled Everlasting Love. With every dawn, I rise for you, just like the morning sun. And as she wraps you in her light, the perfect day's begun. Though she will chase the cool, crisp air and warm you through the day, her warmth will fade with passing hours as he is on his way. The bluest moon is shining bright across the universe. He hopes tonight to finally break that everlasting curse. For centuries they come so close, yet pass each other by. Tonight will be another chance. All he can do is try. Once you're awake, you draw me close. I'm in your arms once more. While sun, so shy, will soon retreat and blush as near before. Through scarlet veils and crimson clouds, the dawning sky is dressed. In bashful pinks and lavender, the moon looks on impressed. The bluest moon is shining bright across the universe, still reaching out through endless night to lift that ancient curse. For centuries they come so close, yet pass each other by. Tonight will be another chance. All he can do is try. Come sunset, almost time to meet. In twilight's whispered hush, he wears a calm and distant guise before he too will blush. While here at home you pull me in beneath his watchful gaze, the night forgets its quiet face and sets the moon ablaze. Once more the moon and sun draw near. They linger, soft and slow, both longing just to hold on tight, too shy to let it show. An ancient dance begins again, but always ends too soon. Still, everlasting love remains between the sun and moon. The bluest moon is fading now as night turns into day, still hoping for another chance, but left alone to pray. To one day meet, to hold her close, to reach her sometime soon. An everlasting love on hold between the sun and moon. In poem. Your thoughts, Zach?
I really like the devotion of this piece and how the sun is personified through as a feminine form, and the moon is a more masculine shape. I feel like their courtship is dressed in these vibrant colors as they sort of pass each other by, and they had this everlasting sort of courtship, this nature, this everlasting bond that is kind of um, it's always been there in a sense, and I just like how the celestial nature of the planets, not the planets, but the the moon and the sun, how they are personified as lovers, and I also enjoy how it read because it rhymed well, and the meter was easy to follow, and that way it just kind of stuck in the head a little bit more, and I appreciated that sort of technical feat, and it just it was a pretty piece for sure.
Oh, that's well wrapped up there, Zach. The word pretty. I mean, the picture, the words, everything is pretty. Like you said, the meter was beautiful and consistent all the way through. And I'm sure I listened to the song already myself, so I know it converted into a song really well. But it also, I need to say this, a tip of the cap to you. Well, first to Law for writing it this way, and to you for pointing it out, because you got to go first, because it was one of my favorite things too. Usually, if somebody's going to portray the sun and the moon in kind of a romantic way, the sun is usually the male and the moon is usually the female.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the experience. Sol sounds more masculine, and Luna obviously sounds more feminine. So, it kind of, they stayed the course. The fact that she flipped the script on this and did it very successfully is beautiful. It adds a different flavor to this piece than something, because I've written something, I don't mean a similar thought pattern, but not similar in the way I wrote it and all that. Lal did a really great job of, like I said, kind of turning us on our ears a little bit and making us think about a different perspective of the moon and the sun in their relationship as lovers that could never be, because you can't see the moon and the sun in the same sky. So it's very poignant, and it did turn out to be a wonderfully written piece that converted to a song very naturally. So well done, Law. Kudos to you. And also, I'm going to mention again, kudos to Merv for putting out there and inviting people into that contest and letting them experience hearing their Zach, you're gaining a
More
little
volume.
reverb or
Yeah.
something there too. I'm getting the feedback. There you go. Thank you, sir. But yes, it is a wonderfully written piece to convert to a song, and she did so many things outside the box and different that are unique and beautiful. Pulled them off flawlessly. What's our next thought here, Zach?
Next up, we have Equinan's piece, and that's what is intelligence.
Intelligence. Oh, intelligence is the flame that lights up your brain. It makes you understand all your joy and pain. Intelligence is the fire. It is the spark. It brings you into brightness out of the dark. Intelligence makes you shine so bright, illuminating your darkness with a light, cutting all your problems with a sharp knife, facilitating your tasks in everyday life, gathering, processing, and using information faster than your PC, working so quickly on boring stuff so it is free, to create all the good things you want to make and savor the flavor of interesting stuff like you enjoy cake. Intelligence ensures you understand the world around you and enables you to do everything you want and need to do. Intelligence is the ability to work things out and to argue without having to name call, fight, and shout. End poem.
Good read, Zach. So I like the repeat. Of intelligence, the making sure that everybody's focused on what we're talking about here, and it is defining intelligence from Anne's perspective, from her point of view, and she wrote it very well, because there's lots of things that imply directly that you're an intelligent creature, the ability to do certain things and craft certain things and understand certain things is a kind of intelligence. But there's all sorts of different levels and all sorts of different functions within your intelligence. But then towards the end, right at the end, it kind of gets this little bit of negativity, because, and I don't mean it just turns more negative than positive towards the end. Intelligence ensures you understand the world around you, which is a neutral statement, and enables you to do everything you want and need to do. Again, a neutral statement. Intelligence is the ability to work things out and to argue without having to name call, fight, or shout. So the implication there is, we can do this with intelligence. We can have a disagreement with intelligence, have a debate, and support each of our points of views. And more than that, respect them. But unintelligent people will just get angry and say, blah, blah, blah. They want to scream louder to get their point across rather than debating. They want to argue and fight and things like that. That's the negative part of this. And I agree. I agree with Anne 100%. If your first reaction is to start screaming and yelling, when people get used to you doing that as your first reaction, they're not going to take you seriously, because they know you're not intelligent enough to hold up your end of a debate. That's what I gathered out of it. It really is. And I love the fact that Anne said that in a way that was a little bit backhanded. and and I appreciate that because, um, you know, I guess that lands on people that are emotionally intelligent, and the ones that aren't, it wouldn't land on. So good job, Anne. I appreciate the way you closed that out, and your definition, your descriptors were really nice. Your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, I enjoyed this unique take on intelligence from Anne. I like how it's sort of described as faster than a PC. So it's a superpower that way because you can compute things um, almost instantly sometimes, depending on what the problem is, and like just it doesn't really um, it's more of a it's just sort of easier to do than a computer. And I like how like you said how Bill mentioned how intelligence is like a how like it's essentially like a tool that gets folks through negativity in a way in a sense like it allows them to sort of cultivate their own civilized opinions without arguments or you just learn to accept other people's thoughts and opinions and tolerate them and that's a mark of intelligence, I think, for sure. That's definitely a mark of intelligence. And I like how that's defined at the end, especially. That was my favorite aspect of the piece, I think. But I also enjoyed how it could be like interesting in a way to kind of like experiment, like almost like you're baking a cake. I like that too. Um, just an enjoyable piece for sure, all around.
I love that it sounded a little bit snarky too.
A little bit, but like,
It
yeah,
just
I
had a
like that
hint of
though.
snarkiness to
Yeah.
it that I liked. Oh, what's next, Zach? What do we got?
Next up is here we go. Next up we have Isama Chiba's piece, and that's your read.
Okay, for those of you that don't know, this is our first time, my first time reading Asama Chivas. She's our newest Parchi, and she contributed immediately to our reading list in our group. So we were compelled to add her to this, and we'll start celebrating her poetry along with everybody else's just the same. Welcome aboard, Asama. This is titled Spaces of Togetherness, and I love the watercolors in this picture. Pastel, it's beautiful. The fragrant breeze of dawn travel chanting hymns, painting the morning on the face of the horizon, filling spaces between distant shores, blowing heavenly winds on the edge of shaded areas that begins and ends with unchaining bonds, where the glowing moon stands to guard the distance of togetherness, reflecting its brightness, mirroring the sky on earth, answering the call from afar, harvesting the seeds of love that grow in the sunlight and dreams in the stillness of the night. End poem. You get to go first, Zach. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, this was a beautiful piece. I like how it's like an examination of how the day sort of shifts from, I think, dawn to night in a way. Starting with the breeze, filling the space, filling this sort of space between distant shores peacefully, and kind of within the space of one stanza. I like how the breeze sort of enters the fray and kind of it's sort of like the glue that holds not everything together, but like just the kind of the breeze kind of sort of amplifies the landscape in a way. I think it kind of it just kind of changes everything that it touches in a sense, and I like how the moon plays a part, and as the day sort of progresses, the moon comes and then the sun again, as well as dreams and love intersect with that too. And I like how you kind of get like a sense of like uh, the rise and the fall of the day, and people too, along with the sun and the moon, how they kind of adapt to that change. And it's kind of ancient that way. How folks have always sort of, in a sense, adapted to the sun and the moon, and the subtle shifts in temperature and light and what they do. And I like that sort of it's sort of mysterious in a way too. And I might have to read it again to kind of get all of the meaning, but I think I just kind of like how mysterious it is, especially and dark and light too. Yeah, for sure.
Being the first time that we've read, Osama's piece, any piece from her is the first time I've read it. Is it the first time you've heard it read, Zach?
Mm-hmm.
For anything from her, I will catch a rhythm of how she writes and all that. But I do want to share her author's notes because, first of all, the picture was beautiful, and I was curious if that's the image that gave her the idea to write this piece, the inspiration behind it, or if it was something more. And it was, in fact, something more. The prompt was for a contest, but let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of the heavens dance between you. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it be a moving one between the shores of your souls. That really, I love those author's notes because it does clarify what this piece is. There's it's very specific in the way it feels. As it was being read, I was like, oh, this really reads so nice. And it has this impact that seems old world, grounded in so many things, traditions and things like that. And then a natural feel to it too, because of the mention of the moon and the sun and the things of that nature and all of that. But the real point of this is to not make your love for anyone in any relationship static. Don't brand it as a complete thing, because your love isn't complete in life, and it isn't complete in death either, because if someone's still there to love, the void of grief comes from that love that is missing. So I like the fact that it mentions the point of it is to become a fluid motion. Love is a fluid thing. It isn't static. You don't love one person one way and stay that way. And it really mentions that and holds that thought beautifully in a fairly short space too. But it's very well written, and I loved each of the stanzas, how they flowed, how they read. Everything was so nice, the word choices and everything. So we look forward to reading Essama's work in the future. This one was no letdown. It was a great piece to read. Anything else in closing, Zach? Starting to get a little feedback from you again. I didn't know if you could hear it or not.
Never. It's a mystery to me too.
I think. Did you say you changed your headset?
Yeah, it's a different headset. I might use the one prior.
I think the microphone is better on this one, is what I'd say. It's picking up.
Really?
It's picking up noises you could barely hear.
Yep.
Yeah, it's picking them up. I don't know if it's the fan kicking onto your computer, you said?
Oh, that must be it. That's the only noise I could hear.
Right. I don't know, Zach. I don't know what to do about it. Oh, boy. It's going to have to end at some point in time, Zach.
I wasn't expecting that. Honestly, that time was a surprise.
Good. I was really trying to distract you and work towards it. I was like,
Oh,
I
he did it.
could use his feedback there, the buzzing of his microphone as a springboard for getting us out the door.
Perfect decoy.
What? That's right. Look to the left, and I'm going right.
Yep.
So great job today on this episode, Zach. We covered a lot of ground,
man.
And I apologize for ending the first attempt. I don't even know how I hit the button, but I hit end, and then it wouldn't let me go back and restart it. And I was like, oh boy, here we go.
But
we were
all
off
good.
to the races then. I swear to God, this entire week for me has felt like a Benny Hill episode. If you'd never watched Benny Hill, you'd understand what I'm talking about. It's been nonstop action and chaos all week, but in a wonderful way. So,
all right.
We did pull this off successfully. Zach, thank you, as always, man, for being here with me and for me.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, we have a good time either way. Appreciate you guys, everybody that contributes and all that. And like I said, we'll get to work on figuring out what direction we're going to go as far as the podcast platform. But no worries, guys. We're going to find a way. We'll still do it.
Show goes on.
All right. Until next week, Zach.
All right, Bill.